What happened speaks volumes. Oh my goodness. So there has been a tragedy that has taken place. You have this man, this elderly man, Kenneth Darlington, a 77-year-old American lawyer. And what happened is that there was a blockade due to a protest. Now, there was a bunch of teachers that were protesting an environmental cause of some kind due to corruption of the Panama government. Kenneth was a little irritated by this blockade, by this protest. He gets out of his car, starts conversing with them, and next thing we know, he pulls out a gun. And shortly after that, at point blank range, unprovoked, mind you, listen to me, unprovoked, meaning no one ran up on him, no one tried to attack him, right? No one was threatening him with a force or anything like that. None of that happened. It's all on video, okay? All on video. Unprovoked, this man at point blank takes the life of two individuals. Upon hearing about this story, I would argue that anyone with an IQ above room temperature would say that this person was crazy, that this person was unhinged, at the least, right? At the least. That is unfortunately not what the right and many people on the right are saying. You have in some circles where people are praising this man. They're praising him as a hero. I kid you not. They're praising him as a hero, and at the bare minimum, what they're doing is they're attempting to diminish what transpired. They're, talking about, well, this is what happens when, there's no police. They're, talking about, hey, this is what happens. Everyone has their, their boiling point. Everyone has their reaching point. They're trying to compare him to the movie Falling Down, if you've seen it, where it's like, hey, you know what? This man deserves a medal. And a bunch of sick and perverse comments like that. Now, if it was up to me, to be honest with you, I would have a list of these people, everyone who's making comments like that, and make a list of these individuals and put them on a 90-day ban or a temporary hold from them holding firearms until we get a psych eval. That's what I would do. Because I think a lot of people who are sharing this sentiment are more than likely, there's a high chance that they're a danger to themselves or a danger to the community. That's what I would say. What I find interesting is the fragility. That's what I think is extremely interesting, because there is a quote from James Baldwin where he says, I believe, to be a Negro in the country and to be just somewhat conscious is to be in, a constant rage. Okay, that's the gist of the quote. And I find it somewhat humorous where you have a situation like that, merely, being blocked from traffic, right? You have someone blocking the road, and this person felt so entitled, okay? This elderly 77-year-old white man felt so entitled and calm. Once again, his demeanor was calm. It's not like he was upset or outraged. He was calm. He calmly squeezed the trigger. Calmly. To me, that shows signs of wickedness. That lets me know this person is a psychopath. There is no emotion there. And people are trying to spin this as, oh, look, he's just tired, man. He's exhausted. Look at him. And this is emblematic of the country as a whole, because think about it. When it comes to a white criminal, what happens, especially on the right? What do? They try and rationalize it. They try to reason with you, try to make excuses for the white criminal. When it comes to a black criminal, what do? They weaponize it. They say, hey, look, this is what's supposed to happen. They're a criminal. That's what they are. Now, I find it interesting that I haven't heard any background checks of this man. There are no conspiracy theories maligning this individual on the right. There's no one talking about impulse control. That's a common tactic that many right-wingers love to say. So I find this very interesting, this contrast in representation. I find it, as I said, humorous, because this should be black people. Let me just say this again. This should be every single black person in this country, in America, every single one. The reason why this isn't every black person in America is because I would say instead of fighting the oppression, we have learned to live with it. That is what's happened, unfortunately. And if you juxtapose that with the majority of white Americans in this country, that's not how that works. Okay, as we can see, most recently with January 6th, that's not how that works. There is a righteous indignation that they suffer from. When they feel that they have been wronged, they go to act. But they feel, hey, I am being wronged, something must be done. If you look at, as far as how they look at the police, as I've said this before, they view it as the police as, hey, it's there to protect me. Protect me. So when you talk about corruption and you talk about brutality and things like that, they're detached from that because they believe that could never happen to me because that's what they're for. They're there to protect me. You, on the other hand, well, you're a criminal. Of course that's going to happen to you because you're Hispanic. Of course it's going to happen to you because you're black. Of course it's going to happen to you because, yada, yada, whatever you are, you're Indian. Okay? So, but when they think of themselves, they're above the fray in many cases. It's a delusion, but that's how they think. And when you look at black people, what I would say is that we have succumbed to our illness. That is what has happened. Unfortunately, we have succumbed to our illness. And to be honest with you, I won't put all the blame on us as a group. I won't put all the blame on us as a group because every other group has assisted into the oppression and subjugation of us as a people. That's especially in this country, in America. So you have to take into account when you don't have a voice, right? You don't have a political voice. Black people don't have a political voice. There's no one in any political party, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever, who is advocating for black Americans. No one's doing that. Even the people that we have that look like us, once again, not all skin folk or kinfolk, these people have been put in positions of power, as Malcolm X has said, and everyone else before him has said, these are puppets. Okay? They're merely puppets of the people who put them in that position. So they regurgitate and they talk how they're supposed to talk, given the script that they get. You have the media. The media has completely been weaponized. Any fault or wrongdoing that any black person has done, it is multiplied by 10. You have to understand there has to be a villain here. And throughout history, there's been one villain mainly. One consistent villain throughout U.S. history in this country, and it's been black Americans. So the media now, you have that. You now have, as far as the culture, being hijacked for a profit, mind you. They're actually harming generations for $1. Okay, that's what they're doing because once again, these are wicked individuals. As the scripture says, they come here to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what they do. That's what they are doing, and they don't care. As long as they flourish and they profit, then, tough luck to you. Deal with it. When you come to education, when you come to a lot of the systems that have been put in place, all of them are targeted against black Americans, unfortunately. And in response, what we are told, lift yourself up by the bootstrap. You tell Israel, let me give you billions of dollars. You tell Ukraine, let me give you billions of dollars. But when it comes to us, lift yourself up by the bootstrap. I think this tragedy it's so many levels to this tragedy of, the response from the tragedy. This man, think about the avatar of this man. He's not dumb. He's educated. He's an elderly man. He has a firearm. Mind you, are you ready for the cherry on top of this insane Sunday? Is that he already has a prior conviction for illegal possession of a firearm. To hear people, especially on the right, try and praise this man, I'm like, he is literally everything that you do not want to praise. Everything, like to a T. Everything that they want to talk about the white liberals saying, you're a white male. Like he's a white male with a gun that he's not supposed to have. He's an American lawyer. He's educated, and he's still point blank on camera, right? Has some superiority complex, such a fragile mindset that he would do this, right? And then just walk off. And what's crazy is how they treated him. He wasn't even handcuffed. They gave him food. There's a picture of him eating food, like, I don't know, Jell-O or something. And it's really mind-blowing to see how people live in two different worlds. Like there's a multiverse within this country where one group of people live a certain way or are treated a certain way, and another group of people live a different way or are treated another way, or at least expect to be treated a different way. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, Lucas, this has nothing to do with race, okay? He was just going through a lot, probably. He was tired, okay? He probably didn't have his milk. You gotta leave this stuff alone. We need to have all the evidence, okay? We need to hear all the facts of the story before we make a conclusion. Or if you can't believe, I find that, I find that humorous, man. It makes me laugh a little bit, because I think how they approach criminals or alleged criminals, and there's nothing alleged about this, but how they approach situation when it has to deal with other white people as opposed to non-white people, it's night and day, especially when it comes to Black Americans. And, they're so quick to come up with conspiracies, but the conspiracies are always to malign the victim, right? Or to even say that, hey, they're not even a victim. We see this with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. The list goes on. The list goes on. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you're more than welcome to call in during disagreement days, which are typically held Friday through Sunday. There'll be a number on screen. You call in, we duke it out. Either or, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. I'm sure there's going to be some people, who are reading and are showing their fragility. And I'm sure there's going to be some people who are like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, Lucas. This is America. And lastly, subscribe. All that fun stuff. And until next time, guys, be amazing. That lets me know this person is a psychopath.